Alright. So, this isn't a cosplay story time. This is a Kaori. Though I was in cosplay at the time. And at conventions, you can get into... There's always long lines, and while you're waiting, you'll make line buddies. You meet friends in line, and you just talk to them. And, I'm waiting on an event, and really long line, and I am talking to my new line buddy, and it is a guy. And we start talking. Very interesting. He's talking about something that I can't remember. It's been a few years. This might have been like year 1 or 2 of going by myself. Like, I'm at the convention by myself. But I am an adult. Anytime I ever mention that I cosplay, I have always been 18 and up. But this wasn't like one of the years that I went by myself to a convention. And I don't exactly remember if this is the first time I was at the convention, but I don't think it was. It probably like maybe year 2, maybe 3. My in year 4 of going to a convention by myself. Anyway, I'm by myself. I get dropped off at the convention, and I get picked up at the convention. So I stay at the convention. But anyway, keep that in mind. I am sitting in line though, and I'm making friends with this guy in line, and he tries to give me a phone number, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable, let's do social media. He didn't want to give me his, but I did give out my social media, which, you know, TikTok wasn't a thing at the time, but like my Instagram, DeviantArt, things like that. Never my phone number. We go into the event, we end up sitting next to each other, enjoy the long event, and we come out, and he asked me what I was doing afterwards. I said, well, considering that it's like 2 p.m. and I haven't had lunch yet, and I've been here since like 10 this morning and only had breakfast at home, I'm going to go get lunch. And he's like, oh, do you want to go out to lunch with me? Like, leave the convention, go get lunch. And I'm like, no, I don't have a vehicle. I don't feel comfortable walking around because I don't live in this area. This is like, I live close to the convention to drive, but I don't live close enough to like be able to walk the neighborhood comfortably. And I'm like, I'm not walking this neighborhood. This is a big, this is a busy city. I'm not walking the area. And he's like, oh, I can drive. And I went, no, I just met you. I'm not getting in the car with you. As I was taught all my life, stranger danger. And I'm like, no. I'm just going to go because there's plenty of eateries in the convention. I'm going to go get something to eat. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go get me something to eat. I'm going to leave the convention. I'm like, okay, cool. Because you can leave and come back whenever you want. There are food trucks outside. And I just, because of like security and stuff, I don't like going outside. Though food trucks are amazing. But like, so I go, and I had already staked out. Like, this is day 2 of this convention. This was a 3 or 4 day convention at the time. And I had already staked out places to eat because I'm somewhat of a picky eater, and I need, I won't eat certain things, I can't eat certain things like that. And so I have like staked out. So I walk down like all the way to the other side of the convention to go and get something to eat. And I'm there, and I'm about to get in line, when the guy, like, didn't even see him follow me, comes up behind me, and he's like, is this a good place to eat? And I'm like, yeah, kind of freaky that you followed me in here, but like at this one, but like, maybe you decided that you didn't want to leave the convention either, because again, it's a pain in the butt to leave the convention, come back, go through security one more time, I was like, maybe you didn't want to have that inconvenience, or maybe you just didn't want to like leave your parking spot because parking is horrible. We're in a busy town. There, it's not, you might lose your good parking spot. So, and I was like, yeah, it's okay food. I've had it before. This, like I said, been to this convention multiple times in this place. I've had their food before. They're pretty good. I think they've gone down here all for the wild, but like, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. Kind of expensive though. And he's like, oh, yeah, one more time, try to get my phone number. And no. And I go and get food, and as I'm out of line, like getting napkins and if I want to catch up or anything, a woman, and I can't remember if this was a worker at the convention center, like she was stocking, or if this was another like con goer getting food, but I had saw this interaction, and she's like, he was kind of cute and flirting with you. Well, why didn't you give him his number? And your number? And I'm like, do people just do that? Like, I don't know, because I'm both aromantic and asexual. I have no desire, and I'm also very paranoid. I will not hand you my phone number easily. Does people just hand out phone numbers? And I was like, I have no, like, was he flirting with me? Because I thought it was creepy that he followed me across the convention center. But was he flirting with me? I don't know. I don't pick up those cues. And it was just, I was like, never saw him again after that. So this guy may have flirted with me and I didn't know this, but he wanted my number and I wouldn't give it to him. And I had a lady not understanding why. And I'm like, stranger danger? Also, I'm not interested in guys like that. Like, friends, yes. Anything else? No. But that was my con story. So, see you next story. Alright. So, my next convention story was another convention where I was by myself. And, I've always been an anxious person. I don't really like talking to people as much as I can. I've gotten better over the years, but talking to cashiers and store employees and always makes me anxious. So I'm in, like I said, I'm in a convention, and it's loud, it's crowded. I don't know what day this is, and I'm in the vendor hall, and I walk up and I'm looking at everything, and I see a Link plushie, Link from Zelda plushie. Thing's gigantic. I love this thing too. And I see it, and I asked the vendor, as one of the vendors, I said, how much is it? And he tells me the price, and I said, can I get that? And he just flat out says no. And I'm thinking, my aunt always says this, I take things literally. I sometimes don't understand when people are joking with me like this, or whatever they're doing. I don't understand it. So when you say no, well, you mean no to me. Why a vendor went and sells something of their products, I don't know. Maybe this was a display one. Maybe this was the last one, and it was saved for somebody else. I don't know why you wouldn't. But all I know is vendor said no. And I was like, oh, okay. And I start getting ready to leave. And, this is like a $30, $40 purchase, by the way. So this is kind of a, not too expensive purchase. But this would help their sales. And I start walking away because he said no. He had to call me back and went like, no. Of course you can have it. And I'm just like, then why did you say no? And to this day, I still don't understand, what was the point of him saying no? Were you trying to joke around with me? Because, as I learned, a lot of convention goers are neurodivergent people and things like that. And like me, I don't know if I'm neurodivergent or not, but like I take things literally. You told me no, then I'm going to respect that no. I'm not going to throw a fit. I can always get a Link plushie somewhere else. So, this was found. The vendor told me no, and I to this day do not understand what was the purpose of that. So that was my... Alright. So, hi. So, this next, convention story isn't actually about me at all, but it is still hilarious all the same. This was my second ever convention, and when I first started going to conventions, my aunt and uncle went with me, and they drove me, they went with me. I wasn't cosplaying it, but like they took pictures for me. My uncle always ran around taking pictures for me at these conventions, and until I started going just by myself. They actually just started going with me again to conventions a couple years ago. But so the convention we were going to had a theme, and the theme for this year was monsters versus hunters. So like, think it's exactly what you think of, you know, zombies and you know, survivors from those zombie games. I don't know exactly like what to tell you, but that was the theme that year. And like I said, this is not my story. This is actually my uncle's story, because he was with me that year, and like I said, he always loved. He would go and take pictures, like he would take pictures of me and my aunt randomly. He would go and ask cosplayers put their pictures. He would go into panels with us and like take pictures of the panel, and then like he would leave, and we have no idea. He always ran off on his own. My uncle though has a disability. He has a neck issue. His head always hurt. At the time of this, he was wearing a neck brace. You know, one of those which he no longer wears because the doctor told him it's bad for his muscles. He was losing muscle and he can't afford to lose muscle in his neck, so on and so forth. But anyway, he's wearing his neck brace at the convention because he's trying to keep his head straight, so when you take pictures, you can see things, move around, so on and so forth. And so it's their convention, and me and my aunt are, I think we're in line for something. I can't remember too sure. I think we were in line for something, for a panel or something. But we're sitting on the floor and we're waiting for something, or standing around or something. And my uncle walks up to us, which isn't on. He's done this, like I said, this is year 2 of going to conventions. The first year he did the same thing. He would come up to us randomly, you know, tell us where he'd been, what he saw, what pictures he took. And then he would take pictures of us, so on and so forth. Like, sometimes I have pictures of me sitting in a panel, I have pictures of me shopping and stuff of those early years. But anyway, he just comes up to me and he goes, "I got my picture taken." And we're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah," he said, "somebody came up to me and asked for my picture." And we're like, "And you, what did you say?" He said, "Well," I said, "Yes." So somebody out there had a picture of my uncle at a convention. And he's like, it was really funny because they thought he was in cosplay. And he wasn't. He was just in his normal shirt, normal plain shirt, pants, got his hat on, because he wears a baseball cap, and his neck brace. And he's like, he walked up to us and he was just like, "I don't know why they wanted my picture." And I started laughing. And my aunt's like, "Why would they want your picture? You're not dressed up or anything." And I was like, alright, the theme this year is monster versus hunter. He's wearing a neck brace. They might either think he's a survivor of some kind of game, or he's one of the like zombie type people. And they're like, oh. So that was my story time, convention story. At the time, my uncle was in an accident cosplay, or somebody thought he mistaken him as a person in cosplay, and it still makes me laugh to this day. Hello! So this is going to be my last cosplay story time, convention story time, and it has nothing to do with a convention, but it is a cosplay story time, but it's not about me. This is going to be the last one for a while because I don't have any more stories yet. Maybe I'll have more in the future. This was very recently, so I've actually never seen people cosplay out in public before, other than for 2 separate times. One time it was almost Halloween, so I understand that one, and I was walking around the mall and I saw a person dressed up as Android 17 from Dragon Ball Z, which was very cool. They were so far away and it was a really quick one, and I went, was that Android 17? And that was the only time that was the first time, and I thought it would be the only time I would see somebody cosplay in public at not a event, right? Like it's not a convention, it's not anything. This was just the mall until like the end of 2024 here, and we're in the mall, and it's close to Christmas time. This might be closer to Thanksgiving, like in November. It could have been before, like in October. I don't exactly remember. I don't have the best of memory sometimes. Days blurred me. So it's either anywhere between October to December of 2024. But we're in the mall. And we're in the mall just because my uncle had business during that time. So me and my aunt's in the mall. And we went to places that she wants, we're going to places that I want, and we decided to go, I went to Hot Topic, and this is where the story begins, because I think I was checking out. Anyway, I saw a person in full cosplay in Hot Topic, and I was like, oh, that's cool, and didn't think anything of it. I thought it was going to be like the Android 17 person, that I was only going to see them, and never get in there. So we check out Hot Topic, we go to FYE, because my aunt has never been to FYE, and I was like, you gotta go to FYE, it's a cool store, and so we're in FYE, we've looked through FYE, we're looking at snacks. When the cosplayer comes in, they are, in fact, they had to be a teenager, they looked young. And I don't know, I know they were with a group of people, but I don't know if they're a group of people in cosplays as well, or if they were the only one in cosplay. I just know that they were in cosplay, and it was really cool. They were in like a kimono, yukata. I don't know what it was, like the proper terminology for that was, but they're in something like that. It is very much Komodo West outfit. They have like makeup on, they have multiple eyes on their face. Which I will now say, I do not know who they were. I do not know what series they were until they told me. But anyway, we're looking at snacks, and I see them, and I point to my aunt, and I was like, look, that's so cool. Because I don't get to see a lot of cosplayers out in the wild, just in cosplay, doing, mall things. And she's like, you should talk to them. And I was like, they're young. Like, I don't want to be, I'm an adult. I don't want to be the weird person. But she goes, your outfit's very cute. My niece thinks, da-da-da-da. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, thank you, very polite. They were like, very thank you, da-da-da. Do you know what I'm from? And I'm like, no, I don't know what you're from. But I could give it a guess. Probably not a series that I know. And I guess Jujutsu Kaisen. And the reason I guessed Jujutsu Kaisen was multiple reasons. I know there is a character in that has eyes. And there's also another character in there that has clothes similar to that, I believe. And they're like, no. And I think they said it was from Demon Slayer. And I was like, that was my second guess. I was like, it was probably going to be one of the two. I don't know the series very well. And they're just like, yeah, they're like, I'm this character from and like I said, I think it was Demon Slayer. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, like, it was really good cosplay. And I love, like, running into cosplayers in the most random of places in costume. I sometimes do that. We'll get into I call it, like, my cosplay bound. As in, I'm in cosplay, but, like, if you don't know the character, you probably don't know that I'm actually cosplayed. Especially because I sometimes use my natural hair. So, like, I have done Shilian and Aw-chan and Nimase from Heaven's Initial Blessings and Mona Zushi, or Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. Modern day times where I just fix my hair up, as this is not my real hair, which is long. And I wear an outfit that I think that they would wear or is inspired by them. And I just go out in public. And sometimes I do an accidental cosplay of I'm in an outfit that 100% could be a character's. Like, I've done this for Rio Bokora. I've bought blue striped shirts and then wore jeans and went, if I put my wig on, I would be Rio Bokora right now. So, but yeah, this was my last cosplay story time for a while until I get new ones. I hope you've enjoyed listening to all my stories, and when I get more, or if I get more, one of the two, you'll listen to those as well.